Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio. With me today is John McTavish. How you doing, John?
Doing well, doing well. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. So today we are talking about the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Sobremesa Brûlée Toro. Cigar is 6-inch by 52 ring gauge. Comes out of the Hoya de Nicaragua factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut. Binder is Mexican Matacapa Negro de Temporal. Filler is Nicaragua Condega C-SG, Pueblo Nuevo Criollo, La Joya Esteli C98, and ASP Esteli Hybrid Ligero. Blended by Steve Saka. Price point is $13.45, and cigar was released in August of 2019. So with all that out of the way, John, what was your overall experience like?
First of all, I'm shocked that this has ASP and C98 in because typically ASP, for those for those out there who aren't cigar tobacco geeks like Steve Saka, those are pretty powerful tobaccos, and normally a little bit goes a long way. And if you're blending a lighter bodied cigar, I'm really shocked that those are in here. All of that to say, it was a pretty average experience for me. I was a little disappointed only because, Steve is one of those guys who Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust tends to put out really nice cigars, elegant, full-bodied, full-flavored, complex, nuanced, delicious cigars. And to be honest, that's kind of what I would expect out of the Brûlée. And I would say this is more along the lines of sort of, I don't want to say paint by numbers, but kind of checked all the boxes for classic Connecticut. It's got, the cedar, the hay, little bit of leather bleeding in there. And I think that the hay and earth kind of became more dominant as the cigar progressed. So for me, the first third and second third was kind of a pretty average Connecticut-like experience, and then the last third, that earthiness really took over. There's some sort of unpleasant harshness and dryness to the cedar. But of course, everyone is tuning into this review because they want to know, hey, John, was this a sweet cap? And I mean, I'm not a sweet cap expert, but my palate happens to be particularly sensitive to any kind of sweetener, artificial or otherwise. That's something that's always stood out. I, for those who aren't aware and who care, I can't drink Diet Pop because the artificial sweetener just immediately jumps out at me, and it's an antithesis to my tasting. I can't stand it. So that to say, there is something there. I don't know whether it's the quote-unquote classic sweet cap, but there is something that is on that cap or in that cap that is not traditional. It is a non-traditional additive, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But there's been a lot of debate about whether that exists or whether it doesn't. Steve has said very clearly it does not. My palate says otherwise. Maybe my palate is wrong. I am not a tobacco master, so I don't know, but my palate said it was there. All of that to say, pretty average experience. I was a little let down only because it's Steve, and we do expect a little bit higher out of Steve. What was your pardon me, I didn't talk about burning construction. It's coming out of the Hoya factory. It's perfect. What do you expect? The ash is perfect. The burn is perfect. The draw is perfect. Of course, it's perfect. It comes out of Hoya. I expect nothing less. What was your overall experience like?
Yeah, for me, it started out with wood, hay, cinnamon, and cream, and then as it settled in, it had all those components except for the hay note. Wood gained a little bit of a toast note as the cinnamon left, and then later the cream transitioned over to a mustiness. Some char joined in the final third. Saw some increased char as it went along, and a little bit of bitterness for a short time. As you mentioned, construction was great, required no attention at all. I thought the Brûlée fell a bit short in terms of being a well-rounded Connecticut shade offering. There was some nice flavors present. They were just kind of were in silos. They didn't really meld together and into a cohesive profile for me. I was expecting a lot from the cigar because I enjoy the original Sobremesa the best out of anything that Steve makes. One of the things I really like about the cigars is I get a lot of cinnamon out of it. And then when you have this one and you have Brûlée as the name, I'm expecting, all right, it's based off the Sobremesa blend. It's got Brûlée in the name. I'm expecting more cinnamon. I got a little bit at the beginning, and then it kind of faded away, and then I was a little bit disappointed by that, and it didn't have that same elegance that the original Sobremesa had. So it was kind of a bit of a disappointment there.
Elegance is a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a fan of Kinetic Shade, you got to check it out, just to see what you think. But for the price point of this cigar, we were talking earlier this evening about the the Hoya Antonio CT. It's that cigar is $3.50 cheaper. I would smoke that over this. So yeah, it's this wouldn't be my target Connecticut shade that I'd be going after. So and I'll weigh in on the sweet tip or the sweet cap. I think if I would have just not known about it and I would have just smoked it, I don't think it would have even triggered me at all. I wouldn't have noticed it. I don't think it, in any way. Um, before I smoked the cigar, I touched the wrapper up towards the foot to my tongue. It wasn't sweet, and I did that on the cap. There was a very subtle sweetness to it that wasn't present other places on the wrapper. So there may be something there, maybe some sweetener added vegetable gum that they were working with putting on the caps. I don't know what that is, but it wasn't crazy. I don't have anything against that being on the cigar if that's how the cigar was designed and all that stuff. No issues with that. So I'll just throw that in there. So let's get into the scores. June and Seth were also on this review. They weren't able to join us for the video. But incidentally, those two were the higher scores. June gave it a 5.75. Seth gave it a 5.45. John gave it a 5.40, and I gave it a 5.30. So John, 5.40.
Yeah, that's what you would call a pretty typical average cigar, slightly below average, but with flawless construction. I think if you rate this on the flavors alone, to me, this is in the low fives, and it's it's just not for me. I think Steve has a lot of stuff out there that I mean, God, I don't even know how many Sobremesas I have in my cabinet right now. Not to mention Micaritas, and I'll smoke those all the time because they're delicious. That's kind of more my style of what he makes. This just didn't hit my palate. It wasn't my thing. What about you?
Yeah, I scored the cigar exactly like you. The only difference is that I had a slightly wavy burn, so I knocked it down one notch in regards to that, and that's why I'm 0.1 points below you. But everything you said applies here. The cigar didn't provide anything that makes me want to go back to it, and especially for the price point. But we do have the Robusto in hand. We may do a revisit and do that Robusto. I don't know. It'll be kind of down the road just to see how things maybe are going on in a different Vitola. But
Absolutely.
as it sits now,
I mean, sorry, with the original Sobremesa, each of the different sizes performed very differently. I think
yes,
like the
yes,
the Churchill Elegante was probably my favorite. So
yeah, exactly. All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. Also, check out the full written review on the website, developmentpalates.com. Follow us on our social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.